Are you a social media professional that's curious about the future of the internet? I'm sure you're hearing words like Web3 and Metaverse and crypto and wondering what that's all about. Is there a place for me? What do I need to know and learn? Well, if you're asking yourself those questions, then you and I are both in the same place. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you what I learned after speaking to eight experts in all things Metaverse, Web3, and the NFT cryptocurrency space. So stay tuned. All right, you guys, so here's what happened. You know that I am an expert in online marketing, social media, content marketing, all things internet marketing or digital strategy related. And a couple of months ago, actually earlier this year, I got a referral to someone's project, and it was a really big project. They have a couple 100,000 people in their Discord. They have a really big following on Instagram, and it was this NFT project that I got a referral to. So I spoke with my contact, who was the marketing director, and he passed me on to the CMO, and I chatted with the CMO. They were looking to hire a social media director to handle strategy and to handle operations, which I felt more than uniquely qualified for, as I have been working as a director of marketing and even as a director of operations. So I've become really good at not only strategy, which I've always been good at, but also around operations. Well, oddly enough, I did not get that role. And one of the last questions they asked me was about how many NFTs did I own, had I purchased, and if there were any other Web3 NFT or Metaverse projects that I had worked on. And while I had worked on a thought leadership program for a Bitcoin expert, I had not actually worked on any projects in that space. And therefore, I did not get the job. So that left me really curious and wanting to know more about what did I need to know, what was I missing, what did I need to learn in order to get clients like that and get those roles. So I set out on a mission to start interviewing the smartest people that I know in Web3, crypto, the Metaverse, NFTs, and here we are a couple of months later with coming up next, or just this week, the Metaverse Social Summit. Now, I spoke with 8 amazing experts over the course of these months, who are some of which were my friends and people that I knew had already made the transition from Web 2 to Web 3 and were already working in that space. Some of them were introductions from people that I knew, and some people I didn't know at all. I learned so much about what is important in this space. So let me share with you a little bit about each of the speakers that I selected. The very first person that I spoke to is the man himself, Joel Comm, who is a dear friend of mine for the last decade. He wrote the first book on Twitter, and he's always been a super early adopter. And he was an early adopter of Web3. He also has a podcast, the Bad Crypto podcast, that you should check out. Don't worry, all the links will be below this video, and also the link to the Metaverse Social Summit, where you can meet all these folks. But Joel sets the stage for us, talking about the difference between Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, so that you can understand where we've been and how that impacts where we are going. Take a leap from Joel and we head on over to Justin Resvani. He is the CEO of Zion, which is an application that's actually more like Web 5. So we're going way into the future. And he's talking to us all things about community building, decentralized platforms, what decentralized social media looks like. So you definitely want to tune in and check out Justin's brilliant conversation with me about not even Web 3, but fast forward to Web 5. I reached out to my friend Sebastian Rusks because he has a podcast called Web 3 Sucks, if you don't know about it. And so on his Web 3 Sucks podcast, He is on a journey himself to learn all things Metaverse, NFT. So I thought it would be great to learn from another, quote, newbie, or another person who was on the same journey as I am. And we learned about podcasting and about thought leadership and many, many great things from the Sebastian Rusk interview. I got to have a great conversation with Erock Christopher, who is a contact of mine that I have had the pleasure of working with on several occasions. He's a great connector. And one of the things I got to talk to him about were how to land clients, which is so important for us as social media providers and marketing professionals. If you're concerned about, is there a place for me? Will I still have work? How do I land these projects? Which, as you know, was a huge concern of mine. Even though I'm a digital expert, will that expertise carry on into the future? And what are some great strategies that I know what this type of client is going to be looking for? So Erock Christopher told me everything I need to know about that. I got to interview my former co-founder of Social Media Pro, Jesse Jameson. He has a podcast called Metaverse Nomads that he's been doing for over a year now, and investigating and learning everything he can about this space, including how to vet projects, what to look for in a good project. And one question I had for him was how to get paid, because in this whole cryptocurrency NFT world, oftentimes people want to do trades or pay for performance. And so I wanted to find out from him what were the do's and don'ts about vetting a project that someone had reached out to you about, and also how to get paid. The next person that I reached out to was a woman named Lisa Beyer. And Lisa Beyer and I had many times where we had spoken together in the past, and we were connected digitally, but we'd never really had the chance to connect one-on-one. And I saw that she had an awesome project called Female Disruptors Summit, which is coming up in January, by the way, where she was meeting, interviewing, and learning from powerhouse female entrepreneurs, and many of which who are working in that space. So she has a PR agency in the Web3 space, and so she could talk to us about so many things about what PR and marketing do's and don'ts in the Web3 space. We had a chance to talk to her about what the role is for women. Is there a place for women in Web3, and how women are actually dominating in this space, which was really cool. And another topic which we discovered that Lisa and I are both passionate about is digital wellness. And as we move into this more immersive virtual worlds, how important digital wellness is going to be. Then I had a wonderful conversation with Heather Paraday. She was one of the people that I met newly, and just has a beautiful outlook on community and what community building is about, and why community building is such a shift from audience building, which is kind of what we've been doing in the Web2 space. So you want to tune in to hear why being part of a community instead of being spoken to as an audience member, and it's going to be important in Web3, and all of the things that you need to do now in order to begin to cultivate that community. We should all be doing these things, even in our, quote, Web2 space. She really made everything very approachable, and I really enjoyed my conversation with Heather. Now, lastly, we have a surprise special guest speaker that I don't want you to miss. So please get your passes now. We are going to be joined by one of the members of the Star Atlas, which is a metaverse game of their community team. And we're going to get to learn everything that we need to know about building a very large community. Their Discord has 200,000 users in it. They are very active with 30 moderators and 8 paid moderators. It's an insane amount of users to manage. And I'm gonna get to ask our special guest speaker all the questions about how to manage a community of that size, and what it really takes to cultivate or to grow a community of that size. What's really needed behind the scenes. So be sure to register. That's a special guest speaker, hasn't been announced yet. So get your passes, join us tomorrow on the Metaverse Social Summit. And if you're hearing this video after the Metaverse Social Summit is live, I have good news for you, is that I met so many amazing people along the way that I've already decided there will be a Metaverse Summit 2. So we will continue on about this. Replay passes will be available for Metaverse Summit 1. And for sure, stay tuned to the Social Media Pro channels like here on YouTube, or go to our Instagram at Social Media Pro to hear about Metaverse Social Summit Part 2, okay? So I want you to know that after I got to interview these 8 awesome speakers, that I feel so much relief. I feel confident in what my past experience will bring to this new space. I feel confident that there is a place for me in this new space, and I feel like I know what I need to know in order to find, vet, and negotiate payment with new clients. Those are the things that you guys, if you have those questions, then I once again invite you to join me for the Metaverse Social Summit. Grab the link in the description below, and we'll see you there.